There are not many people in Maine who are more passionate about birdwatching than Derek Lovich. He is a birdwatching guide, a co-owner of the Freeport Wild Bird Supply store, and the author of a new and updated version of Birdwatching in Maine, a site guide. We met up with Derek Lovich on the Portland waterfront, which, as you'll see, can be an excellent place to birdwatch, and started our conversation by talking about one of the reasons why he felt the need to update this book.
Climate change is changing the way we watch birds in Maine, isn't it? How so? How is climate change affecting what you see out here?
There are some birds that were rare 5 years ago or more common and widespread now. There are a lot of birds that have gotten a lot harder to find, especially some of the birds that we really seek out as birders, the boreal specialties like Canada jay and boreal chickadee. Their ranges have retracted so much that it's now we have to spend more effort and find better places to find them.
It hasn't been that long since you wrote the first edition, but certain birds that were in certain places in Maine aren't there anymore.
The changes are coming so quickly these days. It feels like I'm already ready to make some changes for a third edition, and climate changes and development, which often go hand in hand, are two of the biggest reasons for those changes.
We're fortunate in Maine, aren't we? Because this is a great place to birdwatch.
We are so fortunate in Maine. That's what attracted my wife here on a whim 20 some odd years ago, and we never left.
When you and I agreed that we'd do this interview, and I said, suggest a place or two that would be a good bird watching place, and you suggested the Maine State Pier here on the Portland waterfront, which surprised me. Why is this a good place to birdwatch?
Well, here in winter, there are a lot of things that are on the bay that will be in the Arctic for the summer. So we have long-tailed ducks that are calling behind us, and this is a wonderful place to see them. Also, one of my suggestions was because it represented what I try to do in the birding guide, which was get us access to places that just aren't intuitive.
This is really a comprehensive book. You devote one chapter to every one of the 16 counties in Maine. How much of a variety is there for bird watchers as you go from Kittery to Fort Kent, from Aquasic to Eastport?
Maine's lucky that you have almost every habitat in the Northeast in one state, which makes it fun for things like keeping a year list, but also means that to see different birds, we often have to travel a little further than just beyond our neighborhood.
Let's talk a little bit about some places where people can go. One that's accessible to a lot of people in Maine is the Scarborough Marsh in Scarborough. What makes that such a good site?
It's one of the largest salt marshes in the Northeast, and it's the largest north of Massachusetts. And that salt marsh habitat doesn't just provide nurseries for our fisheries, but provides nurseries for a lot of breeding birds, and birds we don't see outside the salt marsh.
A location in inland Maine that you're a big fan of for birding is in Rangeley.
I love the Rangeley area. I spent a lot of time there, both doing tours and with the Rangeley Birding Fest. You go there and I don't know, something about being in spruce trees and spruce forest. I'm just naturally drawn to being in the boreal.
A place that for a lot of birders is kind of about as close to heaven as you get in this life is Monhegan Island.
There are few places in the world like Monhegan, and there are very few places in the birding world like Monhegan. You get there and you step off a boat and there are birds all over, depending on conditions, of course. Some days are better than others, but on those days that Monhegan legends are made out of, it's hard to walk 10 feet without seeing something you maybe have never seen before.
You make the point that one of the endearing things about birding is that you don't need a lot of technology. In fact, it's better if you don't have a lot of technology.
To me personally, when I am birding, I get to put my cell phone down for a change. A good pair of binoculars and a piece of paper or a notebook is all I use. And as great as apps are, and there's lots of different technology out there that can augment it, to me, the best part about birding is you don't need any of it. You just need to be outside looking at some birds.
Birdwatching in Maine is now available in bookstores. There will be a book release party for the new edition a week from today, Thursday, February 29th, at Maine Beer Company in Freeport. You'll find more information about the book and about Derek Lovich in the 207 section of our app or website. And we'll be back right after this.